Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a pretty cool one for you today. I met up with a local buddy today, and his name is Knife Nerd on Instagram. I'll post it down below for you to check out. And he let me borrow this badass knife right here. This is the NCC BBM V2, I believe it's called. The Nick Churpin design. I believe it's a collaboration with Robert Carter, maybe. I don't know everything about this knife, but I know it's called the BBM. That's what I've always called it. And I've always wanted one of these, but they're obviously very expensive, kind of out of my range. He is actually selling this, so if anybody is currently interested in a BBM, you can hit me up and I'll let him know and I'll connect you guys. Or since his Instagram is linked below, you can message him. He does want $1,300 for this guy. So that is the price. You can see it has this badass, I think it's zircutite, so it's zirconium sort of Damascus stuff. It looks really cool. It's also on the pivot collars there. Has this really cool milling pattern on the scales. And then here is the blade. It's the whole version, not the stud version. It is on bearings. I am going to take this apart real quick and see if we can improve that. It's on steel bearings, it looks like. So I'm thinking if we swap it to skips or something, maybe it'll be a little better. But, you know, it doesn't always do anything. It does feel really solid, so that's all good. It just doesn't quite drop shut. And maybe this model isn't meant to do that, right? So this is the packaging. He got it in. I believe he bought this off of Dr. Frunky. So that's how Dr. Frunky sent it to him. So that's how you would get it. There's no COA or anything like that. Some makers just don't include those. Like Gavco doesn't include them. There's a couple others that just don't include them. So that's just how it works. But yeah, my first impressions after fondling this for a little bit, he also had a Utzler Duckling with him, and oh man, that thing is incredible. I kind of want one of those too, but again, just out of my range. So this thing is gorgeous. Just look at the design. I have a knife here I wanted to show you because when I was handling this, when I met up with Brian today, I was like, you know, this reminds me of the Brian Brown Raptor, and it really does. I mean, it really does remind me of the Raptor. Now I'm wondering, what would the Raptor look like with a hole in it? Like if it had that type of hole in it? Oh. So now I'm tempted to try to get another one of these, which is really hard right now, and get a hole mod done. Because I do like the studs the way they are. I'm just thinking, you know, it might be easier to flick and everything. I don't know. Anyway, I thought they looked very similar in terms of like overall like thinness and all of that stuff. Look at it. So you get that thin handle. Obviously, the Raptor is a bigger knife, but I just thought it was a cool comparison. They also color-wise are kind of similar too, right? And they are similar in the sense that they have the thin handle and it's sort of an adjustment to get used to. They also both work left-handed, but are not ideal, obviously, and you just have to get used to that. Now, I will say, in terms of ergonomics, the BBM does sort of have this choil right here, but overall, it's a smaller knife, and I think I just always feel like I'm slipping on it, if that makes sense. Whereas on the Raptor, I feel really locked in up in this grip, and even back here, I can hold it pretty comfortably, and I don't feel like I'm slipping out at all. So that's one thing. Obviously, action. This one drops shut on the Gillian bearings, but, you know, different knives anyway. I just wanted to kind of show you these because I thought they were sort of similar. So if you're interested in the BBM, but you know, you don't have that type of money, maybe a Raptor would be a good idea since it is a less expensive knife. It's still expensive at, you know, $350 retail and $400, $500 on the secondary right now. But I will say that knife for me, the Raptor, is easier to manipulate for me. It's hard to not be on this lock bar doing the thumb flick. I've gotten used to it. It looks like you can kind of put some pressure on it. I've been able to get it out. And then the reverse flick right-handed is phenomenal. This is definitely one of the best reverse flicking knives for a righty, of course. Just fantastic. And left-handed, you just can't be on this lock bar. So I learned to kind of put my thumb up here on the pivot and then sort of give it a flick like that. And that's one way you can do it. You can also get down on the clip if you want to do it that way. I was doing this standing. It's a lot harder now, obviously. Man, I was just doing it. That's so weird. Huh. I guess I can't do it sitting down. I don't know. And then the thumb flick, obviously, you're not on the lock bar at all. So you get a good thumb flick left-handed. So it does work lefty pretty well. I think this is made for medium to small hands. So if you have, like I have large glove size hands, it's already just a little too small for me, I think, in terms of just operation. And my hands are sort of sweaty, and this thing gets slippery sort of to me. Man, I swear I was doing it earlier. I mean, I know I was, so there we go. But yeah, it's a lot easier to just climb up here and do that. In terms of markings, we have when closed, you have this NCC, and over here RJC. So yeah, Robert Carter. There you go. So let's get into it real quick. Actually, let's compare it to a couple other sort of custom-y knives. The Roosevelt, I was carrying this today. It's the Oz Machine Company Roosevelt. It's a little bit bigger than that in the blade, but not really in the handle. And that's something that they both have in common, is that kind of choil blade situation where the choil starts in the handle, sort of. You see that? I really like that. It gives you maximum blade length for cutting purposes. Here is the Trevor Berger LEXK, one of my favorites, of course, right there. And then here is my Kvist Bladeworks variant custom, which is right there. Similar in size to the variant. You get a little more blade length on the BBM, but a little more handle. Well, it's about even, but yeah, it's even on the handle there. So there's some comparisons for you. We can rip into this guy now. All right, here we go. So I think it's going to be T15 all around. Let me shut it, and we can start. So, gonna need a T15, I believe. That's T15 right there. So let's double check that. No wiggle. Okay, so that body screw is not T15. I wonder if it's T10. Oh, it's already loose. Yep, T10. Okay, so we need the T15 and the T10. I'm going to get the nano oil out, 10 weight and 85 weight. We will get a cloth and our alcohol as well. I also bought this thing to try to replace canned air. I bought this thing, which you can hold down and then... Now, the problem is, it's hard to see when you're buying stuff on Amazon. This nozzle is a lot bigger than what you see on your normal canned air. So we'll see if it works. I may end up having to replace it or something. But it does work for the computer and stuff, which is nice because I'm always getting those dirty. So anyway, let us rip into this. T10 down here. Yeah, this was already loose. I believe Brian has taken this apart and cleaned it. Oh, look at that. Does that hold the clip on? I'm not even going to mess with it if I don't have to, right? And then the pivot There we go. Should come right out. Are you spinning? Nope. There we go. I just had to put a little pressure over here and it's coming right out. So it looks like tie connector hardware, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. The back is coming out. Let me just see what's going on. Oh, okay. Always scary when you're working on an expensive knife, right? So there we go. We got a lot of pieces here. The pivot went through this side. So I'm going to, the clip side, just remember that, Kev. And sadly, we have steel cage, steel bearings for the win. Not win, but you know what I mean. Look at this cool backspacer right here. Got a pin in it. That's dope. So I don't know if this is Robtanium. I think it's Zerk, so I guess it's not. There's a pivot collar. And I am seeing some interesting stuff here. I don't know what's going on in there. I'm going to clean that off. I don't know. Is that rust? I don't think so. Of course. I don't know what that is. It just looks like discoloration. It looks more like something's burnt than rusted, if that makes sense. Let's zoom in on that. Looks more burnt than rusted. So I don't really want to go at it with something. I could. Guess I could try the rust eraser just to see. Let me zoom back out. Oh my God. Here we go with the issues. Sorry. I could try the rust eraser just a touch, just to see, because it can't really do any damage to anything, so. Yeah, it looks like it's coming out. Could just be discoloration of some sort. And this is just getting it off. I don't know. All right. Test out the old blower. Hey, looks like it worked pretty well. Then I'm going to clean this back up with the alcohol. We'll see what we came out with. It's still there, but it's much better. So I think it was just some kind of discoloration. No big deal. Clean the blade. So one thing I want to note, because this is part of him selling the knife, he noted there was some scratches at the tip, which I told him when I was handling it in person, man, you can't even see these. And it's just the pictures he took in his post make it look way worse. See that line right there and there and there? They in person are, like, if you catch the right light, yeah, you can see them, but they're really, to me, not a big deal. Now, he did contact Nick Churpin, or however you say that, and he told him you could send it in. It would cost like $150, and he could repolish or grind or whatever the blade. So if that's your thing and you buy this, you could always do that. But I just wanted to disclose that because he wanted me to disclose it. So that is that. Clean the pivot real quick. I always like to shoot some air into the pivot, which is kind of the problem with this. I don't know how that's going to work exactly. Just put the whole pivot in there and hold down. I just don't think it's enough power, you know, as opposed to taking this and going, you know what I mean? So we'll see how that works over time as I go, but Let me clean these scales. Does look like he has steel washers in here against the titanium, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like it. Maybe not. Hold on, let's see. No. So maybe that's why he's using steel bearings, because he doesn't, want to have the ceramic on titanium, but that's not really an issue. I don't know. We'll try Skips or Gillians and see what happens. It's a little schmutz in there, but no big deal. Clean off the lock bar. The detent on this is dialed perfectly. Looks like there's no insert, so it is a carbonized lock face. I never felt anything, so to me that's perfectly fine. All right, I think we've cleaned everything thoroughly, so we can put these bearings over here. They look like 3/16ths, so I might try Delrin's. That would probably be the smart way to go here. And I know I just got some back. Here we go. Oops. Sorry. Usually an American maker would use... Yep, there we go. Okay. So, put that away. Oh, okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're going to go through the clip side like so. And we're going to take our 10 weight nano oil, which I've been testing lately. Put that down. That's interesting. See that marking right there? I don't know if that's like a logo, like a signature or something, or is that a mark of some kind? Oh, that's weird. And yes, he said I could take this apart to try to fix the action, or just to take it apart, which I thought was incredibly generous of him to trust me with. Yeah. Can't pick this up. There we go. Put that on, spin it around. Put a little on here. All right. Close this up. Then I'm going to put nano oil 85 weight on the detent ball. Oh, I got to be careful, though, because it is a carbonized lock face. Maybe I'll just try to see if that does anything. My fear is that it'll get on the lock face and cause lock stick, and then I got to take it apart again. So I put the smallest little dot I could, and I might even try to sop it up too. All right, cool. All right, then we have a backspacer. There's some extra pins here. I'm not sure, or spots for pins. Not sure how that works, but I'm guessing that sits right there, right? And then I'm not missing any pins, but there's things here. They might be locating holes. I don't know. So you see that's together back there. We got to get the pivot to go through here. So hang on. So we got the pivot in now, but not the backspacer. Okay. I think we're good. So I'm going to slide this through. I'm obviously trying to be very gentle. I'm also not Loctiting anything. It was not Loctited, and obviously I don't want to mess with that. Okay, so centering is dead on. That's tight. Everything seems good, right? Detent is good. No blade play. Might be a little tighter than it needs to be, so let's see. Back off a little bit. I can feel a little play, but not much. It's just hard for me to manipulate, to be honest, because of it being so small and right-handed. Even right-handed, it's hard to manipulate, to be honest. The detent is just strong, I think. I think that's kind of the deal here. You're not going to get it to drop shut. So, what I'm going to do then is put these bearings back in, because if he sells it, I want it to be stock. And also, if the whole point of it was to have steel on titanium, I don't want to mess with that too much. So I'm just going to put it back together the way it was, just to be safe. Look at that. Got both of those just sitting there. It's a very simple construction. Holy cow. And it could also be that they just don't work this way, you know, with these bearings. I don't know. They are a little tight on the pivot. Could try 5mm and see if they're any different. He could be using 5mm. Let's see. Could be. Let's see if the hole is any different. Yeah, it's possible he's using 5mm, not 3/16. I mean, I could test it. Let me put these back. Let's just try something, okay? These are 5mm skiffs. So we'll give those a shot real quick. See how they fit just a little bit? They just drop right over. As long as they fit in the bearing pocket, we should be good. 5mm and 3/16 are very similar. It's just US to metric, and it's the tiniest difference in size. So it is possible that these will work. Ah, shit. Ah, man. Too good to be true, right? So, skiff bearing, test. Not much different. They might break in, and it might be a little smoother on these. But you can see there's a bigger gap in there. I think it's a little wider, the bearing cage. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it apart. Yes, that's right. He told me I could take it apart, and then I did it 3 times. That's what I do, guys. I'm a maniac, okay? All right, skips are going back. Also, guys, today for me is January 15th, Saturday, so I hope you guys all picked up a EMP EDC Nimble if you wanted one. Awesome knife. That'll be my 3rd one. All right, so I always face the bearing in, out. Yeah, it definitely went together a little easier with the stock ones in there for some reason. Sometimes if it's such a precision fit, precision fit item, like these knives are custom made, right? Like they're made to high tolerance. So, sometimes they just make them for the bearings they're using, you know what I mean? And that it is what it is. Back off a touch. Dead centered. Slightest bit of play. Tighten it a little bit. No play. Drops. Yeah, probably got the best action right there on the stock bearings, to be honest. Skips were pretty close, but I don't know if you could tell. Well, the gap's about the same, so probably would have been fine on skips, but I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not a big fan of steel bearings. You know, I just don't think they're appropriate in 2022, but, you know, let's see if I can tighten it down a little more. I like to keep it as tight as I can and still get the action. You see how it kind of wants to stay up? That means I tighten it just too far. And then I'm going to shut up, so hang on. See how that little bit made that much of a difference that it actually... I mean, you couldn't feel it, I could, but... So yeah, guys, that is the BBM from Nick Churpin, NCC, and Robert Carter collaboration knife. And this is a sexy one, guys, for real. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous with this clip right here. Gives me vibes of my Oz clip. Just this is Zerk, you know. Mine's Timascus. And then that milling. And the pivot collar. Blade centering's dead on. I mean, this is a very well crafted piece, guys. You can flick from the fuller. I see why this is a favorite of a lot of guys I know. There's the blade. It's got a really nice hollow grind on it. The edge feels okay on it. I'd venture to guess he doesn't use it very much. I'm just going to cut a piece of paper for you. Yeah, it's really good. Oh, that's me. I wouldn't use it much either. But when I own a knife, I use it as much as I need to. But if I'm carrying 2 knives, guess what knife's coming out? Not this one if I need to cut something, you know? It's just how it is. But yeah, it's a gorgeous piece. I'm very grateful to Knife Nerd Brian for letting me check this out. It's a different Knife Nerd, guys. I know there's a lot of them. But he is a cool dude. So I appreciate it, dude. Thank you very much. I'll get this back to you as soon as I can. And I may do a full review. This may be it because I can't really... I'm not going to carry it and use it. Just not right. And I'm sure he wouldn't want me to. So if anybody's interested in this knife, please hit me up or hit Brian up. It is available. He is open to trades. It seems like he'd prefer a Oz Roosevelt. If you have an Oz Roosevelt for one of these, it's a good deal. I mean, this is worth it for sure. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you watching. I love all you guys. I appreciate all your support. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.